welcome to Liz Rocks and Stuff. I'm Liz, and today I'm going to talk about how I decide to move rocks into stage 2. Okay, I was requested to make a video talking about how I know to move my rocks from stage 1 into stage 2. What do I look for? What are the things that you need to be aware of when you're moving your rocks around? And so that's what I'm going to do. These are my 3 barrels that are in stage 1 still. So it's a variety of things. So I've got my Jasper agates, the Petrified Wood, as well as the geodes, which is kind of an agate type thing anyway. So I've got a variety of types of rocks here, and I'm going to talk about how do I determine if a rock is ready to move on to stage 2. And I've done this a little bit before in one of my videos, but I've not done anything standalone. So we are going to start out with the Jasper Zoo. Okay, so the first thing that I'm normally going to tell you is do you like the way a rock looks? So that's going to be a prime thing. So this rock right here, I do not like the way it looks. There's very sharp corners right here, but this is never ever going to tumble out. If I want to get rid of this, I either need to break this part of the rock off, or I need to get in here with a grinder. This rock is never ever going to tumble smoothly right here unless I just start tumbling it into almost nothing. So that's my option with this rock is keep it in stage 1 until it tumbles itself away, or take it to a grinder or break off this little nodule. And I might actually just go ahead and put this aside to break off that nodule, and then I can tumble this rock and it'll be nice. Another thing is to keep in mind is what kind of rock is it? Is it something that's going to tumble easily? So Jasper takes a little bit, but it smooths very nicely, but it can take a while. So again, this is a concave curve right here. That's not something that's going to easily be tumbled. That's something that I would have to probably grind away to get it done faster. But this is shallow enough. I feel like I can just keep it in stage 1 for a while longer and it will smooth over. Another option is that's very minor. Like that I'm not even sure if you can see quite there, that little divot. I might be perfectly fine with that. So this rock, otherwise, there's a little bit of a crack right there, but otherwise it's fine. So if I'm going for perfection, this would obviously need to go back into stage 1. If I like my rocks to have a little bit of imperfection and be a little more natural, then this is a perfectly fine rock to put into stage 2. I like both. So this one I'm going to go into stage 2 because I feel like it is ready. This is going to take a little longer if I wanted to get that out. So I'm just going to move this along into stage 2. So I have my needs work outside of tumbling, stage 2 rocks here, and I'm going to put any stage 1 rocks back in this barrel. So this rock, again, this has a pretty deep crack in it that actually goes most of the way through. So that is never going to tumble out. I need to look at also, this is a fairly deep indention right there. And my hands always end up black. So my option here is to break this rock or tumble it into oblivion. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break this rock, so I'm going to put it over here. And again, this rock has this shelf here, so it's very sharp and angular. Grit is never going to get in there because the tumbling action is just never going to grind into that. So I would need to either take a grinder to this or accept that that is there. And typically, I'm going to just accept that it's there. There's also another spot right here. So I could tumble this a little more and possibly get these little shallower ones taken care of, but this is never ever going to smooth over. So I either need to grind that myself or I need to just accept that it's there and go with the imperfections. I'm going to put this into stage 1. Now this rock is very bumpy. This is the Cobra Jasper. So what's going on with this one is these round pieces are a harder rock than the gray around it. So the gray around it is wearing away faster. And so I'm not sure how much you can tell, but it is fairly bumpy. And the more I tumble this in stage 1, the worse that's going to get. So that's where I'm saying knowing what kind of rocks you have are going to help you determine. So this is fairly smooth everywhere it's going to be smooth, and everywhere it's not is just going to get worse if I keep it in stage 1. So I'm going to move this one into stage 2. And again, I'm just going to sort of go through here and talk about them as I have something new to say. So this one, again, there's a concave little crevice there. That's never going to go completely smooth. I feel like this is as good as it's going to get in stage 1. This one has, you can see where this has been slowly grinding away. That was worse, but it's pretty good. It's as good as it's going to get. This is another example of, it's very bumpy because the rock between the round parts is softer than the round parts themselves, so it's wearing away faster. If I keep this in stage 1, it's just going to get worse. So we're going to move that to stage 2. This one has a very shallow little indentation right there. That can easily come out, especially since this is Jasper. Jasper shapes, it's hard, so it might take a little while, but it will smooth over very nicely. So we're going to put that back in stage 1. Again, that one has a little indentation there that can easily come out. This one has a little bit of a crack there. That is slightly concave, but not terribly so, that I feel like these little imperfections can come out. This kind of experience tells you this is never going to come out on its own. But I also don't care enough to try and grind that out. So that's going to go into stage 2. I can be a little bit inconsistent with my decisions sometimes. So it's kind of also what I'm feeling in the moment. Like this little bit right here, sometimes that would bother me and go into stage 1. And sometimes I'm fine with it and it goes into stage 2. It really depends on my mood that day. So we're going to put that into stage 2 because I don't care if my rocks are 100% smooth and perfect. But if that's something you're going for, then this would be a stage 1 rock. That would go back in stage 1. So again, looking at these, there's some surface imperfections that I feel like this is going to catch a lot of grit. This is definitely going to catch a lot of grit. So we're going to put that back into stage 1. This is another one. This is never ever going to tumble. So neither is this. So if this is going to do anything, I have to break it. So we're going to put that in the break pile. And this is something I really should have done earlier. Most of the time I just kind of sort these around. A lot of times also, if I have just a batch and I don't have anything I want to add to it, I will just, if the majority of the batch is ready for stage 2, I'll just throw everything into stage 2. So some of them will be perfect and some of them won't. Again, this one, I feel like this is just going to get worse if I keep trying to tumble it because this material right here I think is softer than this. So this is going to wear away much faster. So we're going to go ahead and put that in stage 2. This is another piece of Cobra Jasper. Again, this gray material is softer than the brown and white. So if I keep that in stage 1, it's going to just wear away more. Again, same thing here. This is never going to come out perfectly smooth just because of the type of rock that it is. So we're going to move this into stage 2. Again, another piece of Cobra Jasper that if I leave it as it is, it's not, this part is going to smooth it. This part might not get shiny, but I don't feel like breaking this one. So we're going to move that one along. Another piece of Cobra Jasper. So this is a mix of Cobra Jasper and Zebra Jasper. If it's got stripes, it's Zebra Jasper. If it's got spots, it's Cobra Jasper. This is actually pretty perfect. There's a little bit of an indentation right there. Some of these things you can only feel, and I don't have any sensation in my thumb. So I can't feel that with my thumb, but I can feel that with my finger. So also keep in mind that if you see me feeling it lots of different ways, that's why I have no feeling in my thumb. Another piece of Cobra Jasper. This is actually pretty good. There's some little bit of craziness going on right there, but I don't think that's ever really going to grind out very well. So again, stage 2. And then this has, it's like a bowl right in the middle there. That is never ever going to tumble, but I also don't care. So I'm going to move that into stage 2 because the rest of this is pretty good. And again, looking at this one, it's got a little bit of a crack there. I could probably hit this with a hammer and break it, but then I'd have 2 fairly small rocks, and I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to move that one along. Oh, look. what is that called? A wishstone? Or is the wishstone the one with a line? Or is it a hagstone that has the hole? Anyway, has a hole in it. That wasn't there before. That's kind of cool. But it's like a built-in little pendant. But anyway, this one's not going to get any different. In fact, it's just going to keep getting worse because the softer parts are going to keep wearing away. So again, stage 2. And the final rock in the Jasper, this is fairly small. Small rocks tend to shape up better. And so this one looks pretty well perfect to me. I don't see any cracks or anything. So we're going to move this into stage 2. All right, and now we're going to sort through the Petrified Wood. This also has some geode in it, so we're going to talk about both. So again, this is a little bit of a harder one, a harder rock. So if these are softer, I would be much more forgiving of things. But this is a tiny little crevice right in there. I don't think that goes all the way through, so I'm just going to move or keep this in stage 1. This is a piece of geode. You can see the little bits of agate. So likely these agate pieces are a lot harder than this other material. So this is gonna, one, have a lot of little pits and crags in it that are never going to fully smooth over. And 2, it's gonna wear away much faster. But I'm gonna give this another chance, see if I can get it shaped a little bit better. So I'm gonna put this back in stage 1. That's another, we talked about those. That's never gonna grind smooth in the tumbler, so I can either hand grind it or I can break it. I'm not going to do either. Put it back in stage 1. Again, this has a little tiny bit of divot right there. It's probably not going to tumble out very well. And I kind of like the way this rock looks overall. I love this little red bit right here. And that's not very deep. You can tell it's very surface, this color red. So if I keep tumbling that, I might lose that bit that I like. So I'm going to move this into stage 2. And this one, again, has some cracks. I think this can probably tumble. It might take a bit, but it can probably do that. So I'm going to keep it in stage 1. This one looks a lot like a tree stump to me. Kind of like it. But it has this, this isn't totally smooth on the top. And that can be ground down with tumbling. So we're going to put that back in stage 1. Again, has some surface cracks. This is a harder rock, so it's going to spend some more time in stage 1 naturally. So I'm not too worried about exactly how long it's been in stage 1 already. It's just going to be in stage 1 as long as it needs to be. So this has some little divots there that can grind out pretty easily. This is actually pretty perfect. There's a little bit of a crack there. If I was a perfectionist, I would grind that out, but I'm going to keep that in stage 1. This is another piece of geode. The agate part, the quartz part right here, has some work that needs to be done. So I'm going to put that back in stage 1. This one has a lot of shaping left to do. There's some cracking and divots right there. No features I really like that I want to keep. So stage 1. That can very easily smooth out in tumbling. But I like this coloration right here. So I don't want to lose that. I'm going to keep it in stage 2. This one, I don't think this is going to be a pretty rock no matter what. So I'm just going to put it in stage 1. It's going to be filler. This one has all this little holes and things. Those could potentially tumble out. They're going to be a problem if I let them stay. So again, this one's probably not going to be a very pretty rock no matter what. So it can be filler. If it turns out nice, it turns out nice. This is a really pretty piece. And the only issue I have with it is this right here. That's never going to tumble out. So I'm going to put that in stage 2. This piece, again, is pretty perfect. This is a little rough back here, but I don't think that's actually going to smooth. I think that's just part of the rock. And then this has a little tiny little crevice right there. I'm just going to put that in stage 2. This is another piece of the geode. Any holes like that are never going to be smoothed down in there, and I'm going to need to keep an eye on it. So what I do is I have a water pick, and if you see any grit down in there, you can use your water pick to shoot it out. And it also shoots all over you, so be prepared for that. But that's how you can clean out little crevices like that that aren't going to ever be cleaned. But I'm going to let this have some more time in stage 1. The geodes have only been in stage 1 for a week, so they've probably got the most work left to do. So again, this has this little divot. Otherwise, it's great. Stage 2. This piece, except for this little bit right here, perfect. Stage 2. This has a little tiny crack right there, but it's already little. If I keep going, that's just going to get smaller, so it's stage 2. This rock's actually pretty perfect, so stage 2. I would need to break this off for that to be any kind of working. So I'm going to put that in my pile of to be broken. This has a lot of shaping left to do. This is pretty rough still, so stage 1. This has that little shelf right there, but otherwise it looks good. Well, it has a little crack there, so we're going to put that back in stage 1. This one looks really good to me. It's got a little bit of a crack right there, but it looks good, so stage 2. I mean, you can see how when I say that it's really up to your personal preference, because some of these, there are plenty of people who would not move these into stage 2 because they're not perfect yet, but I don't really mind that so much. All right, so this has a big divot there. That's never going to tumble out, so stage 2. This is an ugly rock, so filler. This is a bit of geode, has some more shaping it needs to do. This is another bit of geode. It's got a lot more work to do there. Like I said, the geodes have only been in for a week, so they definitely are going to need the most time. This has a big crack right there, stage 1. This one looks really good, stage 2. This one looks really good to me, stage 2. This one is never going to smooth over. It's just going to be filler. Filler. Lots of divots and things. All right. And so that is the petrified wood. So I think I've given a pretty good assessment of what I look for when I'm putting things into stage 2. The main things you're going to look for is, do you like the way the rock looks? If you like it, move it on. Be aware if you do have large cracks, holes, divots, you're going to want to make sure that you don't get any of your media or grit stuck in those places. You might have to work extra hard to get them clean. But otherwise, just, is it smooth? Does it look the way you want it to look? And is it something you think you can tumble out? If it can't be tumbled out, can you break it? And then once after you break it, you would need to put it back into stage 1. So those are the things that I look for. Did I answer all your questions? Do you have anything else you'd like me to cover on this topic? Just let me know.